Alrighty, well, I've got the big block rear wheel drive Jegs magazine Cavalier up on the lift, and figured I'd show you some stuff that I've seen on it. This is really only my second time being underneath here, and we'll see what we got. It's got some big 20-inch wheels in the back, 49-inch rear end, custom pans in the back, but as you see, there's no rear suspension, no coilovers, no springs, no shocks, just a bar with a axle welded to it. So this is the fuel line. The fuel seal has been removed. I'm gonna have to put that back in. I got it with the car though. This goes up to a 50-gallon. Both these hoses here go up to a 50-gallon water tank in the back, and I was told they were for cooling purposes of some reason. I'll have to look into that, but it's got a pair of I think they're Super 10 Flowmasters on it, and then the drive shaft actually, instead of just modifying this part here, making the drive shaft go there, the drive shaft comes through the floor right here up to the back of the transmission, which I'll be honest with you, this is the first time I've actually looked for the transmission, and the transmission is, well, not under the car. It's in the floor. But it's a big block Chevy. The original one was a 468 cubic inch big block Chevy. I'm not sure what this one is. I don't believe this is the original motor. It's got a power glide transmission in it, Ford 9-inch. It's got a mid plate for mounting here, and a tubular cross member that's kind of been booger welded, but it actually looks decently built otherwise. It looks like a, I want to say that's a Mustang 2 rack and pinion in it. And it's still got stock Cavalier front suspension, but it's got some kind of different springs in it because the front end sits high even with the big block in it. Like, it sits really high. I need to find a softer spring, but at the same time, why worry about the front springs when the rear doesn't have any? But what else did I notice cool about this car? Oh, and one of my favorite features, it does have oil coolers going down the side of it on both sides. I don't know if I'm going to continue using those or not, because I don't plan on racing it or driving it a lot. It's just going to be a show car kind of deal. So I don't know that it needs an oil cooler. See that it's got a stall converter up in there, and the torque converter is not connected to the flex plate right now. The guy I got it off of said he took the engine out because it was black and he wanted it to be yellow like it used to be. And so yeah, he took the engine out to paint it yellow, which is another reason I believe that it's not the original 468 cubic inch engine. But he took it out to paint it yellow and then never put it back together. But back to my favorite feature, if you look, there's actually two shutoff valves that go to the rear brake lines. I'm guessing so it'll do cool burnouts. That's pretty awesome. But the car itself is super clean. I think it only has like 70,000 miles on the car. Obviously, it's not going to be with the big block in it, but I'm trying to think if there's anything else that was just really, really cool that I wanted to show. But I think that tire fitment, you ain't got no extra room, that's for sure. I've got the hood for it here. It doesn't have the cowl on it anymore. I think that was the second rendition of it. This was the first, and as you can see, the outsides have already been radiused. So I think I'm going to just sand that hood down and have it back painted yellow like it was originally. But I'm gonna let it down and show you some more cool stuff about this thing from the front, or from up top. All right, and this is the car from up top. As you can see, that's a big block Chevy, and that's a Chevy Cavalier. It's gonna take a lot of figuring out to see how this goes back together. That's for sure. But I don't know where the radiator goes. I'm guessing it goes in there somehow. This looks like it's unbolted. Okay, so the radiator was probably supposed to go in there before the engine did, but yeah, the guys I got it off of didn't know a lot about the car. So, but I need to do some vacuuming in here and inspecting to make sure no water got down in this thing. But hey, for the first time, let's pop this valve cover off and look at it together. You know what? We'll hold off on that. But I did just notice before I started filming. So this car was built, it was pretty new at the time back when it was built. The interior is going to be taken apart in it because they had to take the seats out to get the access panel out to get to the transmission bolts. But it doesn't have the original tunnel ram with it, which is unfortunate. It's got an Edelbrock carburetor with a bug catcher. This is the fuel cell. It's got a B&M shifter in it, but it's got Hurst badges all over it. So I'm not exactly sure about that. Let me grab the keys out. We'll open the trunk because I haven't really looked in the trunk much since I bought it. Oh, this was a manual car at one point, I guess. It has the manual style key in it. Ignition switch. Alrighty, here's that fuel cell I was telling, or water tank I was telling you about. It's got a radiator cap on it and everything. It must be for extra cooling because the big block, and it's got a tiny radiator for it. But it's got the dipstick tubes there. I guess the battery goes in the trunk. The fan they had on it's right there. It's nice to see. It looks like they just cut the wiring. Got a tote full of parts there. I know there's an MSD control box in there I saw. Of course, chrome accessories. I see a nice MSD distributor back there. It's going to be a few days of work on this car, that's for sure. And unfortunately, the clear coat is peeling on it a little bit. I do believe it was parked outside for a portion of its life. But that is it. I mean, all I can do is start working on it and see how far I get. And my goal was to have it running by the end of next week. But I've got a lot of questions about this car and nobody to answer them for me. So I'll take it one step at a time, see what I can figure out. And I'm also noticing that the transmission's not bolted to the engine either. So gonna have to figure that out. The engine might end up having to come back out of the car. Before I do anything with it. I'm curious what the transmission crossmember looks like, because in my opinion it would, other than the lack of clearance up front here, where the motor has to just drop straight down pretty much because all this is in the way. Has that been... That's been cut because it's been painted. I would like to pull the engine and transmission out together and bolt it in and then drop it in there, but it doesn't look like that's much of an option. I might take the interior back out and just see what I'm working with this access panel, because I need to make sure everything's safe before I decide to do any smoky burnouts with it or anything like that. But yeah, this is the old Cavalier. We'll work on it day by day, film the interesting stuff, and see how long it takes us to get it back going. Huh. Alrighty guys, thanks for watching, and hopefully in the next video I'll have some work done to it and we'll See how far this project goes. Thanks for watching. After going back and re-watching, my apologies, I never took the valve cover off. Left you on a cliffhanger there. So let's see what kind of engine we're working with. Ooh. That's what I was hoping to see. I need to run some numbers and see what kind of heads these are. I don't know a ton about the old school stuff. I'm more of an LS guy myself, but I mean, how could you not love this? So we've got roller rockers. I can see we have, look like 3/8" push rods. They're big push rods. And I'm assuming there's assembly lube on a lot of this stuff already. So I don't know if this is a new engine or not. Kind of want to take the oil pan off and see what we're looking at down there, but at the same time, mysteries are fun. Cool. All right, well, that's under the valve covers. I don't see a ratio or a brand on these rocker arms though. But oh, there's a name there. Comp Cams on the push rod guides. So it's gonna be hardened push rods then too as well. So hey, this thing could make good horsepower. Who knows? But anyway, all right. Once again, we'll see you later, guys. Thanks for watching.